Now, the Arc of Attrition is a pretty challenging undertaking, what with the technical sections of Coast Bath, the relentless ups and downs, the 100 miles of distance you've got to cover, and the fact that the race is held in winter time here in the UK. So you can literally get all 4 seasons within the race. This is why it is super important to have the right kit, and it really can be the difference between getting to the finish line and not quite making it. So in today's video, we're going to have a deep dive into all the kit and all the gear that I'm going to be using for this year's Arc of Attrition. Welcome back, folks, and thanks for joining us for episode 4 in our Arc of Attrition series. I'm Lloyd Purvis and this is Run4Adventure. I am very happy to say that training continues to go well, and when this video goes live, I should have just finished my biggest week of training within my block. So I should now be sort of tapering off, lowering that mileage, preparing for the big day. And can you believe it? The Arc of Attrition is only 2 weeks away. Super excited for the race. In fact, I'm really looking forward to the whole Arc of Attrition weekend. So I thought it was perfect timing to run you through all the kit that I'm going to be using in the race, what I'm going to be lining up on the start line in, what I'm going to be carrying mandatory kit-wise in my race vest, and all the other stuff that I'm going to have with my crew just in case. I think it's only right if we start with the all-important shoe choice for the Arc of Attrition. And if you follow the channel, you've probably guessed it that I'll be rocking the brilliant Merrell Agility Peak 5 on race day. Now, that's something I thought I would never say, wearing a Merrell trail running shoe to run the Arc of Attrition, but it really does continue to impress me, and I actually think it'll be a great shoe for that tricky arc route. It's got a good level of cushioning in the midsole for those long tarmac sections, but you also get this great aggressively lugged 5mm outsole that's clad in Vibram Mega Grip rubber. So really good levels of traction on the muddy stuff, but you also get a great level of grip on rocky or wet rocky trails, and it's quite hard to find a trail running shoe that can pull that off, and that's exactly what you need on the arc route. So this shoe has done quite a few miles now, but don't worry, I have got hold of a brand new pair in this rather attractive all blue colorway. I haven't run in them yet, but I'm going to be bedding them in over the next week or so, getting them ready for go time. Because I'm lucky enough to have a crew with me, I'll actually be carrying several pairs of trail shoes. So I'll have the trusty faithfuls with me. Yep, they've done sort of 400 miles now out there on the trails of Cornwall, but the shoes still feel great. It's kind of molded to my foot shape, so it's so comfortable to run in. So I'll probably be switching between the 2 pairs throughout the race. I'm also going to be carrying a couple of pairs of the brilliant Exodus Ultra. So not the new version, the Exodus Ultra 2, the original shoe, just works so well for me, fits my foot shape so well, and I've never had any foot issues within that shoe. So like I say, I'll have a couple of pairs of the Exodus Ultra on standby as well. I think I'll also throw in my Innovate X Talon 260 V2s, a super aggressively lugged trail running shoe. So if it is looking exceptionally muddy on the day, I can always pop them on my feet, and they're going to give me enough levels of traction in any type of muddy situations. I personally think that if you are lucky enough to have a crew and you own several pairs of trail shoes, I would throw them all in your crew vehicle. There's some long sections on the route where you can keep your feet nice and dry for, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 miles. So there's nothing better than pulling on a pair of warm socks and a pair of dry trail running shoes, especially when you've been out there running on wet, muddy trails for hours and hours. Next up is waterproof jacket of choice, and I'm going to be using the brilliant Ron Hill Shake Dry Gore-Tex jacket. I've had it for about 3 years now, and I'm still amazed at the level of protection and breathability it gives me. Without a doubt, it is the best running waterproof jacket that I've ever used. It's super lightweight, it packs down nice and small, so it's not going to take up much room in my race vest. And it's just nice to know that you're carrying a jacket that's going to offer you a great level of protection no matter what the weather throws at you. Unfortunately, there's not a peak on the hood, so I will have to carry a water resistant peak cap as well. Mandatory kit requires you to carry 2 head torches with the minimum output of 100 lumens, and you need to have spare batteries for both units. So my main lighting source is going to be the excellent FENIX HM65 HM65R DT. Now, I've been a big fan of the HM65R unit for years now. I used it in lots of tough training runs and races, including the Arc of Attrition last year and the TDS, and it's never let me down once. I think with the DT, having the addition of that amber light, it really is a great feature to have on your running head torches. It really does cut through foggy or misty conditions, and we can definitely get those on the Arc of Attrition, so it's nice to have that feature now. As a backup, I'll also have the FENIX HL32RT, a great trail running head torch in its own right. Really does make the perfect backup head torch. So I'm going to have that with the spare batteries wrapped up in my dry bag with my mandatory kit. Speaking of dry bags, let's run you through all the kit that I'm going to be putting in there just in case of an emergency. And first up, really popular question on the channel, what make of dry bag do I use? And I actually use a bag from the brand Sea to Summit. It's a 4-litre bag. Their bags are quite expensive, but I actually bought this about 7 or 8 years ago, and I think it was actually for the first running of the Arc of Attrition, and still going strong today. So I'll be carrying a small Harrier first aid kit in the mandatory kit bag. It's not on the list, but I tend to carry a first aid kit just in case I need it or I can help someone else with it. I've also got one of Harrier's small, light, compact survival bags with an emergency whistle on the end. I'll have my Salomon Bonatti waterproof trousers in there. I wouldn't say they're the best running waterproof trousers in the world, but they do a job. They're lightweight, they're compact, they pack down nice and small, they fit really well. To be honest, it's got to be pretty bad weather for me to be putting on a pair of waterproof running trousers, so they'll just probably stay in my dry bag. I'll also be carrying a spare long sleeve base layer, so a merino base layer from Say Sky. Really soft merino wool, great at regulating body temperature, and I'll probably be wearing one on the start line on race day. So a perfect item to be wearing for winter racing when you could be spending a long time running in a waterproof jacket. We also need to carry some type of long leg covering, so I'll have the Soar dual fabric tights, a really good tight, super comfy, really good rubber grippers so they don't slip down while you're running, and I have found that does happen with running tights quite often. Again, I probably won't put them on because I still find I get too hot in them. Even if it is cold weather, I get too hot running in tights, and that could cause me issues on the day. My spare head torch will go in there with the spare battery attached to it with an elastic band just to keep them both together. I'll also have a spare buff, spare lightweight running gloves, and a spare warm hat. I'll also wrap up a Precision Fuel and Hydration gel and a couple of their energy chews just to put in there just in case, and then that all gets cinched down nice and tight, and then I'll stow that away in the main compartment on my race vest, and hopefully I won't need to use any of it. Speaking of race vests, and on the day I'll be using the fantastic Salomon Advanced Skin 12 set. This has been my sort of go-to race vest for a couple of years now, and it really has never let me down. It always performs well, super comfortable to wear for long periods of time, very easy to make any adjustments on the front of the vest as you're moving, but more importantly, it has got shed loads of accessible storage, which I personally think is the most important thing when it comes to our running vest. So we've got 2 huge stuff pockets on the front either side. On top of those are 2 big zip pockets. Either side we've got another easy to reach stuff pocket which actually joins at the back to create this sort of large stuff wraparound pocket. And then at the top of the vest we've got a waterproof jacket pocket which makes it very easy to sort of reach over, grab out your waterproof jacket on the move when it's needed. I'll be attaching my Salomon pole quiver to the back of my running vest to carry my excellent Harrier Pro Carbon poles. I've been asked a lot again recently, is it worth carrying poles on the Arc of Attrition? I personally think it is. I've used them every time I've taken the race on, and they really have helped me, especially in the latter stages of the race. However, I would say only use them if you're well practiced and familiar to using running poles, because it can be quite a tricky place, the coast path, to use them on. You spend a lot of time sort of running in narrow gullies, so if you're not familiar with poles, they can become a bit more of a hindrance rather than a help. And then wrapping up, let's just run you through quickly what I'll be wearing on the start line weather dependent obviously. So starting from the bottom and working up, on my feet I'll have a pair of stance socks, obviously in a nice bright, happy, cheerful colourway. Shorts of choice are going to be the excellent Sky Motion 8-inch shorts. These have to be some of the best running shorts I've ever used. I really like the length of them being 8 inches, but also they don't come with that internal sort of brief liner, which is perfect for me because when I do a long training run or a long race, I tend to wear the very comfortable CXP running underwear. On my top half, I'll either have a Sky Merino long sleeve base 165 or one of their short sleeve paste tees with a pair of their arm sleeves. If it is dry, I'll pair that up with one of their running gilets. I personally think a running gilet, a good technical short sleeve tee and a pair of arm sleeves is a great winter running combo because it makes sort of regulating your body temperature a little bit easier, which can be a real hard thing to do while running the Arc of Attrition. Obviously, if it's blowing a hoolie and pouring down with rain, then I'm going to be lining up in my Ron Hill waterproof jacket to keep me well protected and nice and dry out on the route. A couple of other things that I forgot to mention, the first one being is I always tend to carry a nice powerful hand torch whenever I'm doing a long challenging race with a long nighttime section, especially if it has a bit of self-navigation. So this is actually the FENIX PD35 V3. Like I said, very powerful, 1700 lumens, but it also gives you a nice focus spotlight. So you can actually get a beam length of around 250 to 300 meters with this torch. And it's super light, small and compact, so it doesn't take up a lot of room in your race vest. This could be super handy if you lose your bearings a bit at night, you come off the trail. This will help you pick out the next coast path sign or the headland you need to be aiming for, and it will get you back on track. Another mandatory kit requirement is that we carry a collapsible cup of some description. Now, you've probably seen these type that are really soft, but I personally think for winter racing where you maybe want to take on some warm fluids, something a bit more substantial is probably a better choice. So I'm going to use this Instinct one. You just pop it out, fill it up with coffee or a bowl of soup at the checkpoints and off you go. Wash it out, collapse it back down. It doesn't take up much room in your race vest. And then finally, we also need to have a red light of some description on the back on our running pack. So I've got this little rechargeable FENIX E-light, super handy. Push the button down, you can have it on a constant red or you can have it on a flashing red, but it also has the added bonus of a little 150 lumen hand torch worked into it. So if my other 3 lighting options fail, at least I've got this to fall back on. Oh, I almost forgot to mention, we also need to carry gloves as part of the mandatory kit. So one light pair of gloves, but also a waterproof pair. So I'll be using a pair from Dexshell. They make some great waterproof garments, gloves, socks, hats. So these are nice and lightweight for a waterproof glove, so not too bulky, but I also find them very comfortable and highly breathable. We've got some rubber grippers on the palms and we got some sort of touch screen sensitive fingertips, which is great when it comes to filming with the GoPro. I'll also have one of their very orange waterproof beanies. So yeah, this is a waterproof beanie. So I'll have that with my crew just in case the weather really does turn bad. So I think that is all my kit covered for the race. If you are running this year's Arc of Attrition, I hope you've got all your kit gathered and you've tested it out in training, and training has gone well and you're looking forward to the weekend ahead. The Arc of Attrition weekend really is a special thing, and the Cornish running community really does support it and get behind it. So I'm sure you're going to have a very enjoyable experience. I've got to say a big shout out to the sponsors of this year's Arc of Attrition series, so FENIX Lighting and the guys from Precision Fuel and Hydration. They've both been super helpful building towards the race, but it's also by working with brands like this here at the channel, it allows us to live the dream and do Run4Adventure full time. So big thanks to them. If you are in the market for a quality running head torch that really packs a punch, nice and bright and powerful, comes with a long burn time and is also packed with great features, or you just need a super bright powerful hand torch, then I would definitely go along and check out the extensive range that FENIX offer. Now obviously nutrition is a very personal thing, and what works well for me might not work as well for you, but if you have been struggling to fuel your body in training and racing, or you're struggling to keep hydrated, then I really would recommend going along to the Precision Fuel and Hydration website, because it is crammed full of lots of great free advice from case studies, they've got blogs on there. There's also a free nutrition hydration race planner, and they've actually structured one specifically for the Arc of Attrition, with them being the official nutrition partner this year. They really have helped me when it comes to this year's race plan on my nutrition and hydration, and I couldn't recommend the guys enough. So what I'll do is I'll leave links below for FENIX lighting and Precision Fuel and Hydration in the description. Also, the guys from Precision Fuel and Hydration have been kind enough to give our viewers a discount code. So if you input this code at checkout, you'll get a massive 15% off your first order. Right, I'm off to get ready for tomorrow's long run. It's going to be great to get back out on that tricky section of the Arc route from Land's End all the way through to St Ives. I'm going to be packing up my race vest with a full Arc of Attrition kit, so it's going to be great prep, and we're going to be doing it under the cover of darkness. But I'm going to be taking the cameras along, and that's actually going to be the last episode in this Arc of Attrition series before race day. So you're going to get to see all the antics we get up to out on the coast path at night time. But for now, thanks for watching, thanks for supporting the channel, it really is appreciated. A big thanks again to FENIX and Precision Fuel and Hydration for supporting the series. We'll be back here very, very soon, and as always, stay safe and keep on running. I think I'll also throw in my Innovate X Talon 260 V2, so a large sort of wraparound stuff pocket. It really is a great performing running vest, and I can't remember what I was going to say. I'll probably also throw in my Innovate X Talon that's clad in Vibram Mega Grip rubber, so offers great levels of traction on the muddy. Why do I say muddy? What is going on?